Hi, my name is Lewis Perkins, and I'm the president of the Apparel Impact Institute. We are an organization that was founded to help identify, fund, and scale proven solutions for meeting environmental targets and the goals. And for that reason, today I am coming to you to share a new and exciting value proposition that really is an acceleration of what we're already doing, which is to aggregate the industry and align funding and identify proven solutions or white space where there are gaps that may exist towards some of the innovation to reach certain goals, such as Science-Based Targets Initiative by 2030 to lower our industry's carbon emissions impact by a minimum of 45%. So with that being said, I'm going to share a couple of slides. This is a high-level executive summary video for a larger presentation that we've put together and a deck that goes along with it. But we think this is a critical time that our industry comes together and helps develop and scale speed in order to meet the goals of 2030. We know it's ambitious, and we also know that it has to be done together, and it needs a tremendous amount of coordination. Speaking of coordination, we're doing this in partnership with our partners at Textile Exchange, the SAC, Sustainable Apparel Coalition, and ZDHC, as well as many of the partners within a group called the Fashion Conveners that are all working towards guiding and helping and convening the industry around environmental and social impact. And for that reason, we see this as a collaborative effort. Each one of these stakeholders is part of helping us build out this solution. So what is the solution that we're proposing? Well, again, as we were founded by organizations within the industry, many of you who have been a part of this have been part of the journey for the last 3 years. And we want to continue this model of aligning industry stakeholders, funding stakeholders or funding sources, and third-party partners, those who are creating the solutions, the innovations, best practices, and programs in the field to reach these goals. But now we have a vision to basically supercharge this work, which means it needs to happen at a much higher level than what we're currently doing. And a higher level of work is going to require a higher level of capital and higher level of engagement and coordination. So we're looking to actually bring together the industry, funding community, and program community to help create that much more aligned vision. We're doing it across the roadmap that we worked closely with World Resource Institute to look at where the carbon emissions impacts are happening within the supply chain. And we know roughly where those ranges of carbon emissions impact happen. And we know what interventions or levers need to be pulled in order to reach the goals, not only of 2030 and lowering carbon by 45% or greater, but also ultimately the decarbonization of the industry by 2050 or sooner, as many brand retailers have goals that are much more ambitious, and we should be working along those lines as well. So we know that these key areas become funding opportunities where within each of these 7 buckets listed, or these 7 areas on this slide, we have solutions, but we also have identified white space and innovation gaps. So that requires looking at it from an early, mid to late stage development where certain types of funding are more catalytic, grant making, government grant, philanthropic, family office. Early stage, mid stage recruits industry and aligns with greater industry engagement, and ultimately late stage or scale phase brings in the capital markets to bring the right form of blended capital to the work. So the solution really is around providing more transparency for proven solutions. We don't know what all is happening out there. We have a good idea of pilots, programs, solutions that are running in the supply chain, but we need to proof point them. And we need to do that across a verified set of criteria for what constitutes a good program or project. Our intent is not to eliminate anyone who is working on a solution. We actually want to help verify it for brand retailers, verify it as positive impact opportunities for suppliers to engage in, and certainly help de-risk the lending opportunity to scale best practices and solutions. So we see that proven solutions need to be identified. They need to be turnkey, and diversified funding is needed to scale them. And we also need technical expert capacity to grow. So in the process of expanding proven solutions into countries, it's about partnering with the right on-the-ground partners in both environmental NGOs, engineering firms, technical experts, as well as manufacturing groups, to make sure that we're aligning with core organizations that are already working in this area and bringing the right level of solutions and funding to the table. So our current phase is to look at programs from early stage to scale ready. Now what we want to do is really put them into a climate solutions portfolio that would help scale the solutions, again, supercharged. So the climate solutions portfolio would be something we would ask the industry to engage in and agree to register their programs, pilots, ideas, solutions. Who are you working with and how are you working? That level of transparency also allows us to bring more capacity building to them and potentially replicate good ideas and solutions. Just in the same way that we had a hypothesis around energy, water, and chemical savings and efficiency with the Clean by Design program, once we had that proven data, we were ready to scale that across new regions and new areas. So knowing what's happening in the field and also then applying the right resources to it is the key. We also think that, greater visibility also leads towards an established set of criteria, again, not to prevent anyone from getting their programs out there, but actually to help the industry agree upon what qualifies as quality program with proven metrics, verified metrics, et cetera. And then industry commitment, which is how do we collectively scale these across a shared supply chain and quickly? And finally, that increasing capital, which helps our partners that are developing specific bonds, green bonds, other forms of designated private equity or other capital towards climate, towards next generation materials, towards solution in agriculture or land use. All of this funding is out there, but really bringing it to this industry and bringing it to a suite of opportunities or solutions is critical. So we see this as, on the left, you've got a whole slew of programs that are being developed or created. We want to verify and vet those against an expert advisory group, of which would be made up of many of those who will be part of this fund from all areas, from industry, from academia, from NGO, and that we would vet the programs and put them into a pipeline towards scale. And again, that we see this as basically how we currently work, but with a lot more resources and partners at the table. So being bold is what this is all about. And that means aligning a pretty ambitious climate fund goal to this, based on our work that we did with Fashion for Good on unlocking the $1 trillion opportunity to decarbonize fashion report, which is on our website and was launched this fall in 2021. We know that we can unlock potentially more blended capital if we actually bring those solutions forward, the ones that are being funded by industry, the creation of new pilots, programs, projects, and testing that's happening, and then also funded through philanthropy. So if we were to look at a $2 billion blended capital approach, we know that over the next 28 years to 2050, we could remove on average 150 million tons of carbon. It's a start. It's certainly not the whole goal. And we believe that this coordination could present something that could get larger. And we hope that it will if the whole industry takes advantage of it, including all of the philanthropic and other capital partners that could be part of this. So a climate solutions portfolio aligned with identified capital would happen across early, mid, and late stage or pre-seed, pilot, model, and scale phase. We see that philanthropy is most used in pre-seed and pilot. Industry dollars come in from pilot to model, and then the largest part of it coming from debt and equity is at scale phase. So allocation of this blended capital across these areas means that we're also looking to unlock it with identifying pilots and programs and solutions that we can de-risk and get ready for greater levels of blended capital investment. So we're raising $100 million in donor pooled or collaborative philanthropic fund that then will match industry dollars. And the industry dollars are coming from our current sustainability budgets that are allocated towards this work, but potentially we may need to reach into corporate philanthropy and or other areas of our budgets that are being designated towards transparency and scaling of solutions and tools. So ultimately, we think the brand retailer can contribute $150 million toward this fund. That gives us $250 million for early and mid-stage development that we can take solutions into manufacturers who then will also have skin in the game, but ultimately we're lowering their cost to engage in a proven solution. through the philanthropic and brand engagement. And finally, that does unlock the debt and equity. Overall, we think that philanthropic funds and industry dollars are applied in certain stages, as I've mentioned, but that unlock of debt and equity is the greater level of scale. And this is the way to get to that and to prove that these funds, which are being designated and identified for climate solutions, should be applied to the apparel sector. There is a tremendous amount of opportunity, and we want to bring that to the table. So with that being said, we are asking for partnership of $10 million a year over 8 years from lead partners. That would be from both philanthropic, foundation, government grant makers, and corporations to help come in. We think it's probably 10 players from the philanthropic and government grant level that would build the 100 million. And we think it's 15 players on average from the industry brand retailer level that would unlock that as well. So thank you again today for taking a look at this video. If you want more information in depth on this, you can reach out to us. We also have a second video that we created that is longer and describes more of this fund. We thank you for your time, and we are happy to speak more in depth about our solution and our ideas here with you all. Thank you so much.